Southeast Asia is located between two Asian giants, India and China, which shares its border with far eastern states of India and lie just below southern China. Since ages, भारतीय और चीनी सभ्यता का इस क्षेत्र पे काफी गहरा प्रभाव पड़ा. That's why this region is often called Indochina. It mainly comprises of two regions, mainland and archipelagos, which were referred as Swarnabhumi and Swarnadweep in various Indic texts respectively. वहीं दूसरी ओर Chinese texts call this region as Nanyang, literally meaning Southern Ocean. Even in this digital age, we Indians know very less about this part of the world. The age-old cultural ties with these regions is not discussed quite often in our history textbooks. Over the years, our rich shared heritage has been faded from the public consciousness. But thanks to the media, we have been feeded with a few keywords about these countries, both negative and positive. परंतु वह भी हमें चार पंक्तियों में इसका इतिहास, भूगोल और संस्कृति के बारे में बताते हैं. For example, Myanmar is a land of pagoda and from where Rohingyas have came from. Thailand is famous for its nightlife among the bachelors, जहाँ के लोग अपने राजा को भगवान राम का अवतार मानते हैं. Cambodia is the land of Angkor Wat, the largest Hindu temple of the world. Vietnam and Philippines, the prospective buyers of BrahMos. Malaysia is where the controversial preacher has fled, wanted by both India and Bangladesh. Indonesia दुनिया का एकमात्र मुस्लिम देश that has Garuda in his emblem and Ganesha in its currency. इन सबको एक सूत्र में पिरोता भारतीय महाकाव्य रामायण. And at last, अखंड भारत, the most romanticized topic these days. So here we are going to start with a series on the most overlooked topic, Indianization of the Southeast Asia, where we'll discuss how ancient cultures interacted and thrived together when there was no concept of modern nation state. But before that, Namaskar, welcome to the Geopolitica. I'm Akash. Just want to say that this is going to be just a small effort in order to explore the intriguing history of this region. Although I'm not any specialist on this topic, but a one who cherishes and likes to read a lot about different culture and tradition. The videos would be based on the scholarly work done in this field, and the citations will be there in the description below. Do check them out for your reference. Anyways, let's start this video with a question that who were the early settlers of Southeast Asia and where they have came from? It's around 70,000 BC, Homo sapiens, the early settlers, set out of Africa. According to the southern dispersal route theory, these people move eastward. Following the coastline of Africa, Arabia and India, they reach Southeast Asia. यहाँ से वे मलेशिया एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया तक जा बसे. यह बात गौर करने लायक है कि आज हम जैसी दुनिया देखते हैं वैसे वह पहले नहीं थी. At this time, many islands were part of the mainland continent, which made travel much more easier across these regions. Southeast Asia was part of Great Sunda Land. यह वह समय है जब उड़ीसा और बंगाल की तटीय सीमाएं म्यांमार के रखाइन प्रांत से जुड़ी हुई थी, and Sri was part of mainland India. Unlike today's Southeast Asians, the early settlers who were called hobbits looked more like any tribe from Papua New Guinea, who were mostly hunters and gatherers. Around 25,000 BC, in the Neolithic period, there are two major groups, Austroasiatic and Austronesians, migrated from southern China and Taiwan respectively. जहाँ एक और ऑस्ट्रोएशियाटिक लोगों को राइस कल्टीवेशन में महारत हासिल थी, वो लेटर इंटरमिक्स विद द लोकल पॉपुलेशन टू फॉर्म प्रोटो ऑस्ट्रोएशियाटिक लैंग्वेजेस, while the Austronesians were the expert seafarers that helped them to spread from Mauritius in the west to the Oceania in the east. 10,000 BC आते आते Holocene starts, the last ice age. When the glacier starts melting, rivers and lakes were formed that caused flooding. Many land bridges got submerged and new islands were formed. At this time, people start living the sedentary lifestyle. Fish and rice become the part of the meal beside hunting and gathering. This time also saw a sudden rise in population that forced people to move northward in search of a new land. It's around same time some group of people might have migrated towards the mainland India, like Ho Munda and Khasis. कुछ ethnologists का यह भी मानना है that some group of Nagas may have their origin near the seashore. Well, Northeast India is very much part of the same ecological zone as do the Southeast Asians, that we'll discuss in some other videos. Coming back to the question, when did the Indianization of Southeast Asia started? Although these people have produced artistic metalwork and some advanced technologies like fire pistons and blowguns, but these people didn't have any script to write. That's why we could not find any of their early recorded history. But one thing is certain, that people are migrating all the time. as humans are by nature a migratory species, and people of different civilization knew each other. In India, Ramayana by far the ancient texts mention about this place when Sugriva sent his army to the eastern direction in search of Sita. He described this land as full of gold or Swarna Bhumi. He also talked about Yavadip or island of Bale, which is now called Java Island in Indonesia. वह यहाँ के विभिन्न जनगोष्ठियों को नरव्याघ्र कह के संबोधित करते हैं. Around 1100 to 1000 BCE, spice route trade was booming. Probably at that time they came in contact with the ancient kingdom of Kalinga and Vanga on eastern coast of India, called the islands of Southeast Asia as Narikal Dweep and Karpur Dweep. Around 6th century BC, there was something very interesting happening in the socio-political landscape of India. This period saw the rise of 16 Mahajanpadas and ancient Indian republics. The Shramnik tradition of Jainism and Buddhism challenged the prevalent orthodox practices. Trading activities took the center stage. In this period, big urban center came up and people started traveling far away places. इसी समय कई लोग समुद्री व्यापार में संलग्न हुए. यह बताते चले प्राचीन भारत में समुद्री यात्रा की मनाही थी, which would result into someone losing his caste identity. Many commercial activities started taking place in the port cities of India. Indians and Austronesians started dominating the trade route in the Indo-Pacific region. At this time, many of the Indian trading settlements got established along the coastline of the Southeast Asia. Along with traders, many monks and scholars also reached here that facilitated the gradual absorption of the Indianness by the locals. The trade and the cultural exchange between the two was equally beneficial. The advanced shipbuilding technologies of the Southeast Asians accelerated the trade in the Bay of Bengal region to the next level, while the Indians introduced writing system, astronomy and some form of advanced politics in the Southeast Asia. इसी समय स्थानीय राजाओं को देवराज की उपाधि दी गई. वो encouraged the Indian intellectuals and the Pandits to the royal court. They also sent the locals to the ancient university like Nalanda to study Indian literature, art and philosophy. Many Indian rulers too maintained the close cultural and commercial ties with their Southeast Asian neighbors. Even some like Ashoka also sent missionaries to preach the teaching of Dhamma. Indian religion were given the royal patronage, which became widely popular among the Southeast Asian masses. वे शिव, विष्णु और बुद्ध के अतिरिक्त गरुड़ और नाग की उपासना भी करते थे. Where the Nagas are the semi-serpent divine being were very important in various Asian cultures and societies. The Chinese dragons are nothing but just another depiction of mystical Nagas. By around 1st century AD, Kingdom of Funan, the first powerful Indianized state of Southeast Asia, was established. Later on, many Mandala states were formed in different time periods, which was heavily influenced by Hindu Buddhist worldview and philosophy. दक्षिण पूर्व एशिया की ऑलमोस्ट सारी लिपियों की उत्पत्ति भारतीय ब्राह्मी स्क्रिप्ट से हुई है, जिन पर पाली और संस्कृत भाषा का प्रभाव देखते ही बनता है. आज भी मलेशिया और इंडोनेशिया के लोग स्वयं को भूमिपुत्र कह के ही संबोधित करते हैं. Like Indians, these indigenous people were also largely the nature worshipper, जो नदी, पहाड़ और जंगलों की उपासना करते थे. For example, the mighty Mekong River that flows through 5 countries of the mainland Southeast Asia gets its name from the Khmer word Mekhongkhya, which means माँ गंगा और मदर गंगा. आज भी दक्षिण पूर्व एशिया के कई देशों में कार्तिक पूर्णिमा के दिन स्थानीय जलधाराओं में दीपदान की प्रथा है, जिन्हें वे देवी गंगा का स्वरूप मानते हैं. Every year Indians celebrate the festival of Vaishakhi in the mid-April to mark the new year as per the traditional Hindu calendar, which is also celebrated in Myanmar, Thailand and Cambodia with the same fervor but with a different name. Apart from all these, Indians also have their influence on their dance, music and other performing arts. Due to this deep historical link and close cultural traits between the two, Southeast Asia was referred as Greater India, Farther India by the Western cartographers. This process of Indianization was largely smooth and peaceful, with no instance of power grab or conquest by any Indian ruler, except the imperial Chola who invaded the Srivijaya Empire in order to control the maritime route to China. But even they have also not established any direct rule. Southeast Asians have adopted Indian culture into their local beliefs while rejecting the caste system and the subordinate role for women. पड़ोसी देश चीन का भी इस क्षेत्र पे अप्रत्यक्ष प्रभाव पड़ा. Contrary to their Indian counterparts, they have introduced tributary systems, which mean the Southeast Asian kingdoms are required to pay tribute to the Chinese court in exchange of the trade and the diplomatic relations. Though the Chinese kingdom tried to expand their direct influence in these regions, Wu have not just challenged by the rough mountainous topography, but have also faced a stiff resistance from their southern borders, especially from the Divided Kingdom of North Vietnam. इसके अतिरिक्त गृह युद्ध और बाहरी आक्रमण के चलते चीन का प्रभाव इन क्षेत्रों में सीमित था. Over the years, Southeast Asia has developed its distinct identity, where its people made it into a great melting pot of different cultures and civilization. In the upcoming videos, we'll discuss how the Indian civilization has impacted the today's countries of Southeast Asia in much more detail. Write your thought, feedback and suggestions about this video in the comment section below, and also write from which part of the world you are watching it. Do like and subscribe this channel for more such updates. Thanks for watching. See you next time.